What's something that 95% of people can't seem to understand? Story 1. Statistics. You can be freaked by a 100-year event 2 years in a row. Along these lines, statistics and averages lie and can say whatever you want them to. For example, I could say the average person makes $55,000 per week. What I didn't tell you is that it was a sample size of 2 people, where one made $100K per year and one made $10K. Whenever someone uses the average to make a statement, always question the numbers behind the average, sample size, where outliers excluded, etc. Adding on to this, I'm currently reading Naked Statistics. There was an example where a beer company wanted to do a live blind taste testing with a competitor for a Super Bowl commercial. So they figured all beers at the time practically tasted the same. They knew it'd be close to 50-50. So they exclusively picked the people who were avid drinkers of the competitor's beer. And when the results came in, it was darn near close to 50-50. I forgot the exact numbers. Then they said, 50% of competitors' beer drinkers prefer our beer, which sounds much better than 50% drinkers of our beer prefer to drink competitors' beer, which would have resulted if they tested only drinkers of their beer. So many people use statistics to try and trick people into buying their product or just believing something they said. And most people think that since it's a company or a person they like and trust, they can believe them and not actually look more into what they're doing. It's pretty sad that information can be so easily manipulated nowadays. Story 2. Lactose allergy. No cheese? Oh, lactose intolerant? Actually, I'm allergic. It's a bit of a difference. Oh yeah, my sister had that. Can't you just take a lactose pill? No, cheese could kill me. Oh, just cheese? That's strange. No, cheese, butter, milk, cream, yogurt. Yogurt? That's not milk. On and on and on. Until eventually I tell them eggs aren't dairy when they down my allergy because I eat breakfast burritos. Worked at preschool. A kid had a dairy allergy. One day my boss refused to serve them an egg because of said allergy. I asked why and she said, they come from the same section at the store. Me. But they come from birds. Cows don't lay eggs. Her. But they're in the same section. I had this discussion with some coworkers the other day. I was telling them that no, eggs are definitely not dairy. They then used the but they're in the dairy section in the supermarket argument. I had to point out that in England, and I believe the rest of the EU, eggs are not chilled. And you'll find eggs near the sugar or flour in the baking section of the shop. Now that I've written this, it seems really boring, but it's too late, I've written it. I won't lie, when I was young I used to think eggs were dairy. But that was when I was like 6 and didn't know any better. You're telling me grown adults are still roaming around the earth thinking eggs are a dairy product? Story 3. That my son is not adopted. I'm 100% white, that I know of, and was born and raised in Ireland. My fiancé is Pakistani. Our son is exactly the same color as my fiancé. He doesn't look biracial at all. He looks like a little Pakistani kid. He has very dark hair and eyes. He actually does look a lot like me in the face. But because he is so much darker than me, a lot of people don't notice the similarities. I've had to explain this to so many people. Most of the time, I get blank stares when I try to explain that he is my biological son. I don't understand why someone would not understand this. They don't understand why he doesn't look mixed, I guess. Try explaining recessive and dominant genes to them. If they don't get that, ask them if their eye color is exactly half of their mom's eye color and half their dad's. That eye color explanation is a genius way of explaining it. But if they still don't get it after that, they might just be a lost cause. Story 4. Your life experience in something does not make you an expert on the field, especially those who rely on their age as evidence of their wisdom. I'm right about this, I'm 86 years old. Ah, and you must have been an imbecile for all of those 86 years. I see you've met my coworker. It's infuriating because he's pretty much computer illiterate, and our job relies on computers. But since he's old and a dude, customers assume all the time that his years of experience make him more knowledgeable than me, a youngish lady. Or they assume he's somehow my boss even though we have identical job titles. No, Karen, he's literally only been here for a year and a half longer than me. And since he can't computer, I know the answers to your questions a lot better than he does. And I'm not exaggerating about him being old just because I'm bitter. He had already retired from one career when he started working here, and has been here for 10 years now. Dang, he came out of retirement for at least 10 years? What happened? Also, how the heck did an 86-year-old get a job that relies so heavily on computers? There's so much to unpack. Story 5. That criticizing an opinion is not equivalent to a personal attack, and that while most, if not all people should be respected, some opinions are not worth the same regard. Additionally, it's probably not a good thing to define yourself by the things you like. Someone telling you they don't like your favorite movie franchise or superhero or video game or something is not a personal attack on you unless you make it one. The trick is to keep your identity separate from your opinions. They are objects in a box you carry with you, and should be easily replaceable if it turns out they're no good. If you think that the opinions in the box is who you are, then you'll cling to them despite any evidence to the contrary. Bottom line, if you want to always be right, you need to always be prepared to change your mind. CGP Grey. I did not expect this one to be that deep. I completely agree though. People who make their likes and even dislikes, their whole personality, think any differing opinion is an attack on them, when it's simply just a differing opinion. Like what you like and let others like what they like, and you'll be a much happier person. Trust me. Story 6. I work overnight from 10:30 p.m. until 7:30 a.m. No, I cannot get your kid off the bus at 3 p.m. No, I'm not being lazy. I'm asleep. Did I ask you to take my dog for a walk at 2 a.m.? No, let me sleep. My fiance used to work nights at the airport from 11 to 8. The amount of people who didn't get the fact that he worked overnight was astounding. Yes, he does have a real job. The world doesn't stop after 5 p.m. when your job ends, Karen. Mom, what do you mean you're eating breakfast? It's 4 p.m. Me, Mom, midnights. I just woke up 2 hours ago. I've had this job for 4 years. I went out to breakfast with a friend at 8 a.m. or so, and I asked if they had mimosas, and my friend scandalized said, "It's 8 in the morning. It should 6 p.m. Wait, so does that technically make you a morning drinker if you wake up that late and have some alcohol with your breakfast? Story 7. Food related. That because something is bad for you in large quantities, doesn't mean that small doses are a little less bad for you. In most cases, it's actually good for you. I recently heard a radio program by a vegan chef who had a long list of fruits and nuts she absolutely refused to touch merely because it was possible for her to gain weight eating them. For the first time, it occurred to me that some vegans might be shoveling absurd amounts of vegetables into their mouth every hour of the day and night. Sounds like she has an eating disorder. Story 8. Your tax refund is not some kind of lotto prize bestowed on you by Uncle Sam every year. It's your own goddamn money that you have inadvertently turned into zero-interest loan to the government. Yes, there are numerous exceptions to this, but it holds true for many who get a refund. Let me add to this. Getting pushed into a higher tax bracket doesn't mean you pay more taxes on all of your income. You just pay the higher rate on the amount that puts you into a higher bracket. It's called marginal income. Thank you for the free tax lesson, good sir. Story 9. I'm pushing carts at Target. No, the carts aren't trash cans. No, don't leave them in the store's lots. No, don't leave them in the middle of a turn lane on the road next to the store. How did they even manage that? Grocery store near me has carts that lock their wheels after they've been taken so far away from the store. Brilliant. Those are so cool to me. I really want someone to explain to me how they work. Story 10. This one's for new parents. If you bring a baby to the movies, you're a butthole. One of the independent movie theaters in my city, Philadelphia, will do mom shows on Wednesday afternoons, where moms are encouraged to come with their babies. I think it's a cool idea, and I will never attend. In my cities, most theaters do this too. It's called Stars and Strollers, and it's at 11 a.m. They dim the lights but leave a bit brighter than normal. Turn the volume down a lot lower than your average movie and play baby-friendly titles, of course. I wouldn't want to take a baby to a real movie, but this is a nice option to have. Story 11. Parents, do you want to come over for dinner? What time do you get out of work? Me, 5 p.m. At 5 p.m., parents, where are you? Me, thank you. The real question should be, what time should I expect you? LOL, this sounds like my mother, alright. Mom, hi honey, where are you? Me, just getting off work, what's up? Mom, you're just now getting off work? It's so dark out. You might get mugged, raped, murdered. Me, Mom, call me when you get home, sweetie, so I know you're safe and sound. Love ya. Aw, she's just worried. That's sweet. Story 12. Is your zone currently being called? If not, is your zone next and you're worried about overhead space? If neither of these conditions are met, then for the love of God, stay in your seat at the gate. You're turning what could be a quick loading of a plane into a total clusterfuck where no one knows who's in line. My mom always gets in line at the very start of boarding, on the assumption the gate agent would rather wave her through than delay things even further by arguing. That works maybe 50% of the time. My mom is not a great person. Oh God, she's one of those? I'm sure she's a lovely lady in different areas. We all have our flaws. Story 13. If you're consistently late to work, you should start leaving your house earlier. Consistently. I had an employee that was late every day. She lived a mile away. Like, how in the heck? I told her to leave 10 minutes earlier, and it blew her mind that I suggested that. The thought never crossed her mind. I did some work at a place where we sent a boat to pick you up. Missed the boat, missed the whole day. There was one guy who was always late / missed the boat / ran like an idiot. He lived across the road from the wharf. It never crossed her mind? How? You should always leave about 10 minutes before you would normally leave, just in case of traffic. Story 14. Recently, it seems people don't realize that their car's high beams are not meant to be used all the time and actually blind other drivers. I want to install a set of the brightest freaking lights money combined to the back of my car, so I can turn them on when one of these absent-minded idiot canoes is behind me. I like your style. My idea was to put a reflector or reflective sticker on the back of my car that points slightly up. It's for the stupid lifted trucks with super bright headlights. This happens to me way more times than it should, and now I'm really considering that reflective sticker idea. It's always the big pickup trucks that like to ride your butt the whole entire time, making you lean into your steering wheel just so you can see the road. I swear some people need to retake their driver's test. Story 15. You're supposed to speed up to merge into the freeway, unless you live in Pittsburgh where we put stop signs at the ends of our 30-foot on-ramps. Had the same thing in San Antonio about 20 years ago. I darn near rear-ended someone my first time driving there because I wasn't expecting that. There was a post a while ago about the left lane and OP was shocked to learn that it wasn't a cruising lane. I was thinking no poop, but then opened the comments to a bunch of TIL comments. Right lane is for travel, the left lane is for passing cars on the right. Story 16. That nobody gives a frick about your kid. Also, I'm going to punch you if you tell me again that everything changes when you have kids, and or you can't possibly understand until you have kids. And the corollary to this, no unemployed single brother-in-law. I do not welcome your parenting advice, given that you have failed in all of your life choices, or your dog that you treat like a kid. People that treat their dogs like kids are the weirdest ever. Like, yeah, your dog is adorable, but you're taking it way too far. Story 17. That if I say I understand a behavior, an opinion, or where people come from, it doesn't mean that I agree with what they're doing or thinking, right? Explaining something isn't the same as agreeing with it or justifying it. Exactly. And if you don't even understand the other side's point, are you sure you're well informed enough to disagree? Oh my frick, this. Understand why they're messed up. They were tortured and abused for 15 years. So you agree that he murdered 300 people and there's nothing wrong with it? Story 18. How to properly manage their money. Many people live beyond their means. Just because you have the money to buy something doesn't mean you should. It's been a slow, painful lesson. But what if I really want it? Hadn't thought of that. You should open a credit card with 30% APR and use it to buy what you want. It's basically free money. I think there's a very healthy middle ground of getting what you want and living a little, but not overdoing it with everything. Story 19. In order to enter the bus/tram, you need to first make space for the people exiting. Elevator 2. It baffles me that people forget that other people are solid. You simply can't walk through someone. It baffles me that people forget that other people are solid. You simply can't walk through someone. So why try when I'm trying to get off the bloody tram/train? Where do you want my mask to go? Out of their way, obviously. Story 20. The difference between being shy and being introverted. I don't like parties where I don't know anyone. I'm not an introvert. You might be, but not being comfortable around people you don't know has nothing to do with whether you're introverted or extroverted. Zipper merging. I'm gonna let an extra couple people merge ahead of me because I'm so nice. Story 21. Given that winter is in full swing, you need more time to do everything when driving in the snow. More time to brake, more time to turn, more time to accelerate, more time to flip off stupid drivers, more time to let your car engine warm up, and so on. The smallest bit of snow or ice on the road can cause a big accident if you're not careful enough. Meanwhile, some people think the faster they drive, the less time they'll be on the icy road, so they should speed. Story 22. Depression. The cause is in the cures. The cause is the brain. The cure is not yoga, not getting over it, not faking it till you make it, not the depressed one's fault. Something is not working right in the brain. There is no cure, only maintenance and long suffering. While true for some people, there is help available that can at the very least lessen that suffering quite a bit. Story 23. Freedom of speech is not absolute. You cannot shout fire in a crowded cinema hall and say that you were practicing your freedom of speech. Also, the First Amendment only prevents the government from infringing on your right to free speech. Free speech doesn't apply everywhere. If you call your boss an anal-wart, you can still get fired. True, but you're still free to say it. Just there are consequences to your words. Story 24. Kids cost a ton of money and are a ton of effort. Having one will probably ruin your relationship with your SO and drain your finances unless both are very secure. What people don't understand is that they shouldn't probably be having kids for reasons like repairing a relationship or something like that, because it never goes away. Yeah, I don't really think it's the kids ruining the relationship. I think it's just the parents not being able to take all that on and not really being ready for that with their SO. Story 25. Strangely, how electricity works. Could you explain about how it works more, please? I just realized I don't really know how it works as I'm lying here charging my phone. Well, you see, when lightning hits a flying kite. Story 26. That the phrase is I couldn't care less as opposed to I could care less. Also, it's a dog-eat-dog world, not a dog-eat-dog world. And for all intents and purposes, not for all intensive purposes. I could care less annoys me to no end. Like, okay, so you do care. Story 27. Having kids right out of high school doesn't make you a life expert. You might have been able to experience things people who don't have kids can't, but they also get to experience stuff that you can't either. Story 28. That the white zone is for immediate loading and unloading of passengers only. There is no stopping in the red zone. The red zone is for immediate loading and unloading of passengers only. There is no stopping the white zone. Story 29. Criticism is not an insult. How can we have a healthy relationship if I can't communicate without them thinking I'm being mean and insulting them? Infuriating. How the criticism is framed and delivered counts for a lot. Story 30. If you bought something that's normally $50 for $35, you didn't save $15. You lost $35. If you were planning to buy it in the first place and it isn't something that you'll eventually use, like toilet paper and such, then you're wasting money. Story 31. The two-party system is an absolute divide and conquer technique and no politician has your best interest in mind. Finally, someone said it. Story 32. Being louder doesn't mean you were correct in an argument. You can't be rebutted if you can't be heard. This is unfortunately true if the argument is in a group. Story 33. That when you meet a gay couple, you shouldn't ask which one of you is the man. They both are. What if they are lesbians? Story 34. Antibiotics are not going to cure your virus. Maybe I just want to kill my digestive flora. Leaky gut is bad or something? Enjoy your C. diff. Story 35. If something has a probability of 90%, it still might not happen. That remaining 10% isn't like decorative, and vice versa. Story 36. You can't change a fact because you have an opinion. Now with that opinion you can't. Story 37. I see and hear frequently, why does company name do terrible anti-consumer tactic? The answer is money. Any business decision can likely be attributed to making money. Story 38. That they are not special or somehow more exceptional than anyone else. Story 39. Bigger is not always better. Counter-argument. Fat Albert, better than regular Albert. He makes a really good point. Story 40. A straw only has one hole, not two. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more videos to come, or else this spider will be in your bed tonight.